15, Josh Brindell-South. Sponsored by Hightech. Galloway. Sponsored by Hunter Christian Churches Football. And number 27, or number 22, Adam Taggart. Sponsored by JSA Group. And number 27, Nick Ward. Sponsored by JSA.
Saris to drive it. Oh my goodness! What a save from Danny Vukovic! Oh, Guy Finkler! How about that for control? It's Bellerini! Oh! Lovely skills by the German. Look at that. That is special!
Well, Sir Alex Ferguson once labelled it squeaky bum time, and Newcastle and Wellington will certainly empathise with those sentiments. Just a third of the season remaining after today. Neither of these two in final spots, at just 2 points separating four clubs in the bottleneck for the top six. Very good afternoon to you from Hunter Stadium, one of two venues this afternoon where our Fox Sports cameras are located. Because of the heat, for only the second time in A-League history, we have simultaneous kickoffs, and what happens here and in Albury will have ramifications in the battle for the end-of-season playoffs. Newcastle winless in 6, but the listing ship did right itself in part with that late equaliser last week against the Wanderers. But the Jets do really need to start winning at a venue where they haven't tasted success since November. Wellington on an excellent run of 5 wins from 7. And although historically they have one of the worst away records in the competition, if there is one venue they enjoy playing at, it's here, having won 3 of their last 4 trips. Let's have a look at the teams then, starting with the Newcastle Jets, who are unchanged. So still no Emil Heskey or new signing David Carney. Joel Griffiths is suspended. Ben Kantarowski still out injured. So Nick Ward will play in the hole behind Adam Taggart, who will again lead the line. Wellington are without the suspended Michael Boxall and Kenny Cunningham, while Albert Riera tore his groin in training this week. So there's a debut for the Queenslander Josh Brindell-South at right back. Rhys Kyra is drafted into midfield, and there's a starting debut for Matthew Rydenton, who flat shares with Riera. On the bench, Joey Gibbs is back for the Jets, and Alex Rufer is a name to conjure with on the Phoenix reserve bench. Nephew of Winton and son of Shane, all Whites legends both. Adam Taggart in fine goal-scoring form last weekend with a brace against the Wanderers. Can he repeat that? It is the Jets against the Knicks here on Fox Sports 1. The heart and the glory on Fox Sports 3. Twice the football fun here on your home of the A-League. Back soon.
As he heads off the field, have a big hand for young Gary, who joins us today as part of the Community Street Soccer program.
Well, you've heard of the Scottish band Wet, Wet, Wet. There should be an Australian equivalent called Hot, Hot, Hot. Although current temperatures have dipped somewhat to 24 degrees. It was about 10 degrees hotter an hour ago. The pitch doesn't look pretty. but should play okay. On the benches tonight, Clayton Zane, the greenhorn, just 2 games into his A-League career, which reads 1 draw and 1 defeat. And for Wellington, the veteran, the most experienced coach in the competition, just sat behind Chris Greenacre there, his assistant, Ernie Merrick. 168 games with 2 clubs, winning 75 of those and having lifted 5 major trophies. Man in the middle is Sean Evans, who is on the Clayton Zane side of the refereeing ledger, officiating in just his 12th game. Luke Brennan and Lance Greenshields run the lines. Chris Young, the 4th official. So away we go at Hunter Stadium. We are into February, but Newcastle Jets still waiting their first win in 2014 as an early shot flies in from Tyler Boyd. What a start that would have been. Really neat work, Gary Phillips, from Stain Houseghams right from the kickoff. A man really in form at the moment.
Liverpool-esque, wasn't it, Simon? Incredible start last night and a good positive start for the visitors. Big test for them today. 3 key players out in Cunningham, Boxall. Riera has been key in the middle of the park for them. It's really important, that midfield battle today. I like the look of the Jets. Zakovic, Caravella and Nicky Ward in there. Lots of experience. Big battle in midfield. Winner of that competition in today's middle third could be a key to the outcome.
Of course, it is quite a lengthy Wellington absentee list. If you include Louis Fenton, out for the season with that shoulder problem, and Paul Eiffel likewise with an Achilles injury. Leo Bertos still 2 or 3 weeks away with a groin problem as well. Real test of Ernie Merrick's depth in the coming weeks, with the season reaching the pointy part. They've made a bright start here. And that's a foul on Carlos Hernandez by Zenon Caravella. Free kick for the Phoenix.
Tough place to come to, Newcastle, Simon.
Quick free kick taken, and Birighetti's come a long way and not got there. This is Stain Houseghams. Houseghams to pull it back, and the shot from Hernandez had real power. And Birighetti redeems himself by making the save away to his left. What a start this has been by Wellington.
Brilliant start. Just going to say, the former Carlos Hernandez will give the coach Ernie Merrick a lot of confidence. Top of his game. World Cup possibility.
Good cross by Brindell-South, and Houseghams only a centimetre or 2 away from making contact. Well, Wellington Phoenix have fairly flown out of the blocks. Newcastle don't know what's hit them.
It's a great start. Really good sign. Newcastle just been asleep.
Is there a danger of that, Gary, on a hot day such as this, that you start a little bit sleepy?
Well, if you look at a couple of key statistics I was looking at earlier today, Simon. Phoenix are undefeated when scoring first in this fixture, historically. It's a foul there. Leon Huell has been impressive, very good last week. Back to that statistic, Simon. Here we go, this ball over the top. Brilliant alertness. Just run away from Hoskins there, kept his composure, did really well, cut the ball back. What a strike from Hernandez. Birighetti alert to on that occasion. Jets escape, they survive. Again, a ball across the box. Goodness me. Nobody watched Liverpool last night. It's deja vu.
Well, let's see what the Jets can do here. Their first look at the Phoenix penalty area. Craig Goodwin on set-piece duty, and it's flicked behind by Nick Ward. Getting his second successive start given to him by Clayton Zane, who's had a really tough introduction to life as an A-League coach. He is only the interim, of course, until the end of the season. It's so important that, from Newcastle's point of view, that they win here today, Gary. Without a home victory since November, when they beat Melbourne Hearts, they've slipped out of the 6. And
not a winning 6. Haven't won at home in the last 4. Keen to get the fans back on side. Desperate It's a really interesting decision by the club. Young Clayton Zane, new to this coaching. So much expectation on this club to make the finals.
Now Taggart has managed to stay onside, but the cross is weak. Just saw some of the dirt kicking off the park there as Taggart went to deliver that cross. 3 games of rugby league played here last night.
Only 3.
Trial matches as well. I find that incredible. I don't know about you, Gary.
No, it's the landscape of Australian sport at the moment, unfortunately. Just battling to find our way. Surely there needs to be a look at the rescheduling. It's not hard, surely, particularly given the owner is involved with both codes.
Well, competition games you understand, but trial matches surely are something a bit different. Anyway, you had a walk on the pitch, Gary. So
yeah.
You thought it'd play okay.
It's not too bad, Simon. It might be the odd rolled ankle, but I suspect the ball will roll reasonably well. I guess we're just fortunate that it was dry yesterday in Newcastle. Had it been wet, would have been all sorts of problems.
It's certainly dry today. Dry and warm. Conditions that should favour the Jets. Wellington rather more used to cooler climes as Yallins chips it forward, looking for Taggart.
It's still a bit breezy though, Simon, which will favour Wellington. They've got a great record here. Though form hasn't counted for much in the A-League this season. Statistics have counted for more. Got a great record here. The Phoenix, they've started really positively.
Reece Kyra feeding Manny Muscat. Thought that Kyra might start at left back today, but Ernie Merrick unwilling to tamper too much with his defensive back line, especially bringing in Brindell-South on the right, and Hall has managed to find the gap. Taggart's away here, he's around the goalkeeper, the angle is very narrow, and he slips on the turf, which allows Glenn Moss to gather the ball. Well, that's the danger of Adam Taggart.
Well, yeah, he's always looking to get in behind, always a threat to defenders, but Hull did brilliantly on that occasion. He's added a lot of spark to their attack in recent weeks. He's got a real edge to his game, feisty character, did brilliantly on that occasion, good quick feet. Will allow Taggart to play the ball in behind. Moss doing just enough.
Caravella chips it into the path of the freshly de-whiskered Josh Brillante. He's got rid of that bushy beard, which I tend to think is a shame. That's just my opinion. Caravella. Brillante. Caravella inside. Ward. 2 bites to control it before finding Brillante. It's too high for Taggart, met by Brindell-South. This is the Jets captain, Ruben Zatkovic.
Just think on those occasions, Simon, Brillante had opportunity to get it, attack that space, get to the line to cut it back, looking to play an early ball in. Just needs to be a little bit more positive. Certainly got the ability to go forward and provide good crosses and get himself in a good goal-scoring position.
Well, they've tried a couple of players at right back, haven't they, in the absence of Scott Neville, who's out for the season. Brillante's got the role at the moment ahead of Jacob Pepper. Hall's had a go there as well. He lays it back for Josh Brillante. Drills it in left-footed off the thigh of the former Newcastle Jet, Andy Durante. And the Knicks have a free kick.
An interesting point you make, Simon. You know, Newcastle Jets have signed David Carney through the week. He'll be keen to impress in the ensuing weeks. Not forgetting Sam Galloway. He can also is naturally a right-footed player. Can also play at right back. Brillante's did very well in midfield. So they've got some flexibility to their game.
I wonder if that is the longer-term plan to switch Galloway to the right. Anyway, future weeks will tell us. Saw David Carney in the bowels of the stadium earlier on today, looking fit and healthy, and enjoying life back in Australia, looking forward to getting back playing football, which is what he's not done enough of in recent years, particularly with the World Cup around the corner. Galloway on the turn, puts it out of play. So Galloway received his only red card in the A-League against Wellington Phoenix in January of last year. Game that ended in a 1-1 draw. Now Craig Goodwin has stolen a march on the fullback. Looks good this for the Jets. Craig Goodwin to go for goal. It was always rising, but nice and positive from the Jets flyer.
There's a good break from midfield. Really positive, attacked that space, ran up the last defender. It's worth an effort. Nicky Ward wasn't real happy, but the ball didn't come square.
26 games without a goal, Craig Goodwin. His last one was in December 2012.
He's starting to get back to some form though, Simon, isn't he? He's just starting to look like his old self. The reasons Newcastle targeted him when he was in good form at Melbourne Heart. Just lost his way a little bit under the last regime. Just starting to show some good signs now.
Well, starting regularly helps. He's now started 6 in a row. Nicky Ward felt the full weight of that challenge.
And to have two left-footed players on that side, Simon, is so important. Goodwin, David Carney to come back in. In recent weeks or ensuing weeks will be interesting to see.
Matthew Roddenton with the infringements, son of the former All-Whites Michael Roddenton. His first start today, so a couple of rookies in the Wellington starting 11, Gary, with Josh Brindell-South, the Queenslander who started life with Moreton Bay in the NPL Queensland, also making his first appearance for the Knicks.
Yeah, another youngster. I'm impressed during the trial period. Ernie Merrick was very impressed with his endurance. Led the way in a lot of the fitness testing. Ernie Merrick himself with a sports science background. I'm sure these players are very well prepared given his education. But a big test for Wellington on the road. Two experienced players out of the game, particularly Riera in the middle of the park. He's been a key to everything. Big job today for Leah. He gets a very experienced midfield. And this is that man on the ball, Carlos Hernandez.
Hernandez always capable of creating something. He's been in rare form in recent weeks. World Cup to aim for him as well. Strangely enough, Costa Rica scheduled to play New Zealand in a friendly in May. You'd imagine Hernandez and Cunningham might be involved in that. There is Hernandez. Brindell-South. Mounted in field, but Zatkovic there for the Jets. Now a chance for Craig Goodwin to outpace the fullback. In fairness, it's Ben Sigmund, the centre-back, who did well to keep pace with him. This is Ward. That's where it breaks down for the Jets. Wellington's flying start has somewhat stalled. A chance here, but Muscat is held up well by Taylor Regan. Typically sturdy challenge by the Novocastrian.
Taylor Regan certainly not shy to make a tackle. Timed it very well on that occasion.
He's another one who's benefiting from regular football. 12 starts in a row for Taylor Regan. That's the longest of his career. Meantime, Newcastle have got an injury concern over Nick Ward. So whether that was from the earlier challenge some minutes ago, Gary.
Yeah, it's a knee problem, which is not good. Both coaches taking the opportunity to make some tactical adjustments. Ernie Merrick in deep conversation with several of his experienced players. Not to mention a water break, an opportunity to hydrate. Here is the tackle, and Nicky Ward, just a little twist on that occasion, and that is not a good sign. An awkward challenge. Clutches at the knee instantaneously. Seems to be up and about, which is a good thing. Always squirmish when I see somebody grab a knee. It's a terrible injury. So many ACLs out at the moment. A good 12 months on the sideline. Player of Nicky Ward's age. Certainly the last injury he wants.
That's the relocated squadron. I'll be grateful of that today in the shade. Ward continuing to have treatment. Of course, he was a late injury replacement last week for Emil Heskey. Not just a few minutes before kickoff, and there's some pretty heavy-duty strapping being applied to that right leg. Just wonder how long he'll be able to continue, if at all.
I'm sure the medical staff have specific tests for ACLs and those types of injuries. It's a tough boy, Nicky Ward. We want to get back on the puck as quickly as possible. Just to remind his former club of what he's capable of.
On the outside of Adam Taggart. Yeah, Nick Ward, 46 appearances and 3 goals in 2 spells for Wellington. He has been around the traps, hasn't he? Just on a short-term injury replacement contract at the moment for Newcastle, for Scott Neville. Denton prodding it through. Hernandez gets the better of Yalins. Danger here for Newcastle, and Birigitti's come a long way. That's really good goalkeeping to deny Tyler Boyd. Look at that. That's goodness me. About 18 square feet of tape on there, Gary.
It's NFL we're watching at the moment, but that is serious bandage. Nonetheless, it's Nicky Ward gets him back out in the park.
He's almost mummified that right leg. Anyway, let's hope it does the trick for Nick Ward. He's back on the park. Yalins clears for Newcastle. Muscat. Good first-time ball by Steyn Hassegams. Really good awareness. Come back from Kyra. Cleared by Yalins. It's a race for the Golden Boot. Just as interesting as the race for the top 6. Hassegams and Taggart on show today, both on 8 goals. James Troisi stole a march on both of them yesterday with a brace against the Mariners. He has 9.
Well, it will be interesting, Simon. A young coach, Clayton Zane, trying to lift this Newcastle Jets into a final series for the first time in several years. Also, a youngster in Adam Taggart leading the way for Newcastle. A lot of responsibility on that young man. 8 goals this season. The team has scored 17 from 17 starts. Big responsibility he has. It's a fresh face front 3 in Houle, Taggart and Goodwin. Augurs well for the future if they can hang on to them. Showed good signs, promise. Need to get some consistency in their performances. It's always been the question mark over the Newcastle Jets.
Taggart is straight offside, which is why Brillante delayed. Just not the right communication between Brillante, Taggart and Houle. Jets looking to relaunch their season. A fresh February after a not-so-jolly January. They drew 2 and lost 3 of their 5 matches. 6 without a win, as Gary said, now in total. They will have taken heart from that late comeback against the Wanderers as Hernandez puts it into the path of Hassegams. Deflected off Yalins. Regulation stop for Birigitti. Hernandez. Putting it inside Andrew Hall, and Manny Muscat thought he had the corner. Actually came off Muscat last, and that'll be a goal kick. Let's have another look at Nicky Ward's injury, how it occurred. We believe it's a medial strain. Just see that trailing leg of Matthew Rydenton there following through, which causes that jarring effect on Ward.
Yeah, it's nasty, whichever angle you look at it.
This is Houseghams. Hernandez. His sort of range to shoot. Hernandez! Oh, what a goal, Carlos Hernandez! Super strike from the edge of the box. His rich vein of form continues, and Wellington are in front.
Well, once again, it's that man Hernandez has been the hero for Wellington in recent weeks. His form has been outstanding. He finds the net once again. You just cannot allow a man of that quality space on the edge of the area. Newcastle Jets have dived in, ran past the ball. Hernandez has done brilliantly. All they've done to get behind the ball, no one's closed him down, stood and watched. Hernandez, thank you very much. I can find the net from there. Birringhetti with no chance. Great finish. It's been a rich reward for the visitors. They've had a great start, really positive. It's not too many times, Simon, that man doesn't find the net from that range.
Well, he does have a hammer of a right boot. His 5th of the season. He is reborn, reinvigorated, revitalised at Wellington Phoenix. The Taggart's offside. Or maybe even Ward. What a blow for Clayton Zane and co.
As we look to the bench, there's a fair chance there'll be some replacement for Nicky Ward. He's struggling, unfortunately, for the local team. Wellington Phoenix have really responded. Forget those 3 replacements have been out today. It's been a great start by the visitors. I think they had 2 wins on the road last year. They've already had 2. And they're on their way to another record. Looking at a 3rd win on the road this season.
There's the travelling yellow fever, smiling in the sunshine. They will really appreciated that strike from Carlos Hernandez. Sigmund looking for Boyd. Watched by Galloway, picked up by Brindell-South. This is Boyd again. Little drop of the shoulder, and he gets around the fullback with ease. Well, there are warning signs here ringing all over the place for the Newcastle Jets, Gary.
There is indeed, Simon. They've had a lot of joy in behind those fullbacks in wide areas. Heisingen's been an out a number of times. He's got him behind. On that occasion, Tyler Boyd with great feet. Drop of the shoulder, great little turn of pace. And delivery into a good area. On that occasion, defended well enough. A lot of joy for Wellington in behind that last line of defence.
Durante straining to keep it in play, and that's a late one from Andrew Hall, who does have his problems with discipline. He's only 1 yellow card away from a suspension.
Not anymore, Simon.
Not anymore. He's gone into the book, so he will miss the trip to Brisbane next week, Andrew Hall. Meantime, the Jets have made a change. Sorry, Gary. The expected one, Nicky Ward, unable to continue. So Joey Gibbs is on for just his 2nd appearance in Jets colours.
Joey Gibbs is sponsored by Cafe 189.
Interesting to see whether Gibbs goes to lead the line, which is more his go, really, or whether Adam Taggart stays at the point. At the moment, it looks as though they're going to play Gibbs in behind.
Well, Taggart scored all his goals as a 9. But as you said, Gibbs is very good, can hold things up. I saw the impact that... Oh, that's a nasty one.
Yeah, poor challenge. Deserving of a yellow.
And it's a big test. I was just going to say, sorry, Simon, before I interrupted you.
Just hang on a second. Hernandez, I don't know quite what he's going to do. That not quite as good as his earlier finish.
I was just going to say it's a big test for Andrew Hill now, an early booking. He's lived on the edge for a number of weeks. Now knowing that suspension in the back of his mind, how does he respond to that?
It's his third yellow card in his last 4 Jets appearances, and if you remember at the Asian Under-22 Championships, he actually got sent off for Australia, playing against Saudi Arabia, so a part of his game that he really needs to work on.
Yeah, my word. Psychology of players these days, particularly young players, so eager to impress. I think all athletes live on the edge. There is a very fine line.
Caravella bursting through midfield. Great run by Zen and Caravella, and he tees it up. Goodwin! What a goal that is! Craig Goodwin, bang! 1-1.
Great strike, Craig Goodwin. Glorious finish from Goodwin. A super play, Zen and Caravella. Caravella was brilliant. He broke from midfield, he won the ball. Always full of enthusiasm. Great little header to get him in behind the defender. Gaze that played a really educated pass in behind that last line. Here he is, Caravella attacks the ball. Great little touch past that line of defence. Sigma, no chance. That's a really educated pass into the path of Goodwin. And just slashes of that, and a great finish.
He has fairly thrashed that into the back of the net, Craig Goodwin. Had a sighter earlier, his first goal since December 2012, and it was well worth the wait. We have had 2 cracking goals here, Gary.
It's been a real positive start. Both teams desperate to win. This game always had goals in it.
What do Wellington have in response? Matthew Rydenton trying to burrow his way through. Well, never mind the hot conditions. It's only increased the tempo even further. It's good to see the positive attitude of both teams. Good to see Craig Goodwin back amongst the goals. The sort of form, certainly the sort of strike that earned him a trial at Reading in England towards the end of last season. Only denied a move to the Premier League by Reading's subsequent relegation. That's a foul, though, committed by Galloway. Set-piece opportunity for the Knicks. Left-footed Stain Hasegums to deliver. So it will be an in-swinger. Plenty of sunlight around to distract the goalkeeper and defenders too. Puts it in the right area, Hasegums, but Durante can't get there. Drops for Vince Leah, who squirts his shot wide. The occasion of his 200th National League appearance, NSL and A-League combined, Vince Leah. And a good servant to Wellington Phoenix, and Ernie Merrick. Gary believes he's in career best form at the moment.
He's certainly been very consistent. No doubt he's got to step up today with Albert Riera, who's been very good for the Phoenix in recent weeks. Big responsibility on Vince Leah. Ernie Merrick has got every faith in him that he can do that. He's got 2 youngsters beside him. He'll be keen to guide them around the park, do the workload for him.
Just maybe leave the shooting to Carlos Hernandez.
Agreed.
Came off Durante and Taggart was on it in a flash. That's really good defending, though, by Ben Sigmund. Helped his central defensive colleague out. Foot race between Boyd and Galloway. Boyd gets there first. Clever feet, too, to get away from the fullback. Turn by Hasegums. Caravella got a foot in. Well, this is developing into a really good game of football. Hernandez sliding it through just beyond Hasegums, and Taylor Regan was there to provide cover. Offside flag was up anyway.
Yeah, it was good cover. Really good cover on that occasion. Hasegums just drifting off to the offside area. But again, that combination, Hernandez looking to play in Hasegums. A lot of experience there. A lot of football education, a lot of football knowledge.
Here's another look at the goal, Gary.
Yeah, Caravella did brilliantly, and as I mentioned, there's a great educated pass right into the path of Goodwin. Didn't have to break his stride, just lashed at that. It's great to see him with a smile on his face. That'll give him a lot of confidence. It's a big test now for Brindell-South playing opposite him, the youngster on his debut.
Sigmund climbing, Caravella controlling, Brillante feeding Houle.
And is there anyone that's going to upset Andrew Houle? It's going to be Matty Muscat. He'll be in his ear all day, he'll be in his back pocket, he'll be chipping away at him all day, knowing he's on a yellow card. He mentions a big test for the youngster. He's got some quality, has he got the mental toughness?
Hernandez. Hasegam's just on his heels for a moment, which allowed Zankovic to nip in. Half an hour played in Newcastle. It's gone pretty quickly, Gary. 2 excellent goals and plenty more besides.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more to come. There's been great action, really good action. Both teams looking to play, being really positive.
Now there's some room between the lines here for Joey Gibbs. Looking for options. Houle provides one. His first touch was poor, his second was better. Still with Houle. Decided to go for goal. It was blocked by Sigmund. Still alive for Newcastle. Brillante. Houle. Gibbs finding room again. Little chip forward for Brillante, and it was just too heavy. Really good construction there by Newcastle. Started to find a bit of confidence.
Yeah, they showed some great moments last week against the Wanderers. They were very competitive, very lively. They're at their best when they're full of enthusiasm. They chase everything. Their movement is good. Essentially, it's a passing running game. If you can't run, you can't move, you're gonna struggle in this game. Particularly Newcastle, 76% pass accuracy, which is the worst in the league. They need to improve that. That helps when you've got plenty of movement, plenty of options. Certainly got that ability to move Wellington around. Plenty of pace.
Vince-Leah with a switch. Laid off by Brindell-South. Rydenton. Square for Leah again. Reece Kyra. I'm not sure he was expecting that ball to come through to him.
Yeah, he's on a different level then, Carlos, wasn't he? And Hernandez just let it run across his body. Kyra with a great chance. Didn't read the play.
Kyra, another one showing his versatility today. He's a central defender, really, by trade. Here he is on the ball. Played left full-back early part of the season. Lovely ball by Hernandez. Hasegam's! Another brilliant finish. Wellington lead again. Stayed Hasegam's 9th of the season. He draws level with James Troisi in the race for the Golden Boot. And the Jets undone by another sumptuous ball from Carlos Hernandez.
Well, it wasn't brilliantly hit, but there was enough on it just the same. Found the back of the net. That combination once again, look at the space Hernandez, you just can't allow him. He'll just find that killer pass every time, thank you. And Hasegam's, you're in Getty, flat-footed, really no idea which way that's going to go. And Hasegam's, so many times a mishit goes in, but it was enough to find the back of the net. Once again, the Newcastle Jets dropping off, allowing that space and time. Goals galore today.
Sweet as Belgian chocolate from Stade Hasegam's. He just can't miss at the moment. Wellington have the advantage for the second time in the game. Kyra prods it in field. Hasegam gets there first again. Advantage plays. There was a foul on the Belgian. Hernandez still in possession of the ball. Brindell-South joining in with the attack. Hernandez. Really the architect of everything good for Wellington in an attacking sense, the Costa Rican. Here he is available again. Muscat. Held up by Caravella. Leah forced back. He's caught there by Caravella. He's going to have to watch his step. That's borderline challenges from the Jets number 6. Rydenton. Brindell-South. Gets it back off Wellington. Boyd's good football from Wellington again. Wellington. Leah. Hassegham's coming short. Leah showing too much of it to Caravella. There's a counter on now for the Jets. Gibbs pumping it over the top. Taggart has pace. So too does Ben Sigmund. Taggart just trying to take it around the central defender. Sigmund did enough.
Well, it's a way the Jets have set themselves up. They're defending deep, trying to get the midfield 3, 4, 5 at times, close to that back 4. Bring the opposition onto them. Sets them up for a quick counter-attack. The pace of Taggart is always going to be a threat. On that occasion, the ball on a diagonal. It's just a little bit too wide. Just a sign for the Phoenix just to be aware that that's on most of the time.
Kick taken by Regan. Switch of play for Goodwin. Gibbs lets it go. Taggart is allowed to turn, but then quickly closed down by Durante. Newcastle defence conceding 2 goals at home again, the second time in a week. Just 1 clean sheet in the last 15 now for the Jets, which probably tells its own story, Gary. Or at least half the story. They've had problems at the other end as well, of course.
Well, they have, which probably indicates why they're second last on the ladder at the moment. You're always going to struggle if you're going to leak goals. Started to look more solid centrally. Yarlands has been decent. Reagan's good. It's got to tidy up those areas just in front. Particularly cannot allow the likes of Carlos Hernandez space.
Hassegham's backed into a corner. Volante in field for Caravella. Taggart caught there by Leah. Free kick. Leah just 1 yellow card this season. Ernie Merrick saying he was surprised by that this week. Maybe he wasn't too far away from second there.
Well, I'm sure he leads the interceptions. He might not lead the tackles or the yellow cards, but his reading of the play is very good.
Home fans trying to lift their team. They've drawn level once. Can they do it again? Wall of 2 for the Knicks. Just guarding that near post. Pretty sure Goodwin's going to float it up towards the far stick where Yarlands is one of those positioned. Came off Ben Sigmund last, who couldn't afford to take chances. It'll be a corner for the Jets.
There is the statistics, number of interceptions, which is a key indicator for his positioning. It's a great clearing header. No chances there. Get it out of there.
Andrew Hall with the corner. Met by Hassegham's. Controlled by Brillante. And that's into the crowd.
That's not so brilliant from Joshua. I mentioned earlier, Simon, I like the look of the Newcastle Jets midfield. At times they've just not really identified somebody to sit in front of the back 4. Deny the likes of Carlos Hernandez that space where he can play the balls into Hassegham's, who at times drops off but also finds space. They've got good rotation in there, but at times I think it's important that somebody just sits to deny that opportunity for working space for the attack.
Now, of course, Ben Kantarovski, I'm sure, would have been detailed to play that very role today had he been fit. Still out with the knee problem.
Yeah, it's a good call. He was excellent when he was playing.
Kyra His Housigams, and Yallens just did enough. He is an ever-present threat, though, isn't he? Staying Housigams.
He's in great nick, isn't he, at the moment? But once again, Wellington finding some luxury in those wide areas. Cannot afford to switch off. Wellington Phoenix is in great nick at the moment.
Well, we knew he had quality when he came to the Hyundai A-League, staying Housigams. His pedigree suggested as much. 15 international caps and former clubs that include Feyenoord and Twente. He's really proving it this season. Durante caught in possession, and a mistake by Sigmund, virtually the first he's made. He still manages to scoop it clear. Ball turning it around the corner, partly away by Durante. Sigmund back to Glenn Moss, who, that one goal aside, scored beautifully by Craig Goodwin, has been relatively well protected by his defence. And here's the danger. Hernandez onside, looked offside. The flag goes up now. I was going to say, he looked to be at least a metre off.
I think he gave himself up there. I'm not sure the linesman was going to put it, or the assistant was going to put his flag up. And he's looking across at the lines, and the lines are going, OK, I'll give it.
He's a mile off.
Well, he is.
Now Caravella's going to go into the book for that. Well, in fairness, he's had a few warnings then on Caravella. And he caught Rhys Kyra there. The crowd don't agree, as you can hear. Well, I think that's fair enough, unless you saw it differently, Gary.
No, it was high in accumulation. You've called it earlier. I don't think the crowd are thinking it's that one occasion, but as you mentioned, that accumulation, as we've seen over the weekend, a number of occasions, yellow cards have been handed out for that accumulation of fouls. Still, I think it was a little bit high once the studs are up in the air. Mind you, it could have gone either way in that occasion. Typically, the person that wins the ball is the one that the free kick's given against. But that won't stop that young man. He's not young anymore. Young in the energy he displays. He will fight for the full 90 minutes. He's a terror in midfield, full of energy. Starting to get back to his best form as well.
That's a foul by Manny Muscats, and referee Sean Evans is going to his pocket again. 2 in 60 seconds. Manny Muscat, 6th of the season, so that sort of squares up the ledger between Muscat and Andrew Hall in that particular battle.
Yeah, an interesting one. I mean, that's a yellow card, which is fair enough also. No intention to play the ball. You mentioned the heat, Simon. It's still quite warm despite the breeze. What it will test is the players' mentality. A lot of mistakes, a lot of frustration can creep into players' games. Way to go, with already some yellow cards handed out.
Here's Brillante, unable to outfox Rhys Kyra. Caravella, again neat and tidy by Caravella. Taggart just trying to lift it into an area for Joey Gibbs. Wellington pick up the pieces. Brindell-South. Loose ball. Wellington win it back again, and here's the problem for Newcastle. Look at the space between the lines. They get away with it on that occasion. That midfield area is pretty much open for business for Newcastle. Here's Craig Goodwin attacking at the other end. It's great viewing for the neutral. Gibbs managed to contort the body around well enough to get the back heel in towards Hall, and sliding in was Durante. Corner ball.
Yeah, good action at both ends. Wellington with a break, the counter-attack by Newcastle. Good interception there by Durante. Lots of experience. Game starting to open up. Space in midfield, which generally means quality service to the front players.
Goodwin's delivery, whipped in towards the near post. It was helped on by Gibbs. Retrieved by Yallens. Now with Zatkovic. Decent looking shape to it. Oh, on the first touch by Hall. Just took it away from him. And Muscat puts it behind. Another corner. Good pressure by the Jets.
Great pressure, Andrew Hill. You really got to expect that. You get yourself in a great position. He's not happy, the young man. You really got to expect the ball. In position, set up, even a first-time finish.
Corner flag indicates a strong breeze. Goodwin again to the near post, and Househam's there. Third corner in a row. In fact, the linesman, as you just watch this replay, sorry, Gary, it's indicated a goal kick, but Sean Evans has overruled him.
As he has the right to do. Once again, that ball from Zatkovic previously. He needs to get more involved, been a little bit quiet.
Into stoppage time, end of the first half. Again, whipped him with pace towards the near post. Away again by Househam's. Back in by Goodwin. Suggestion of a handball there against Josh Brindell-South. The crowd are adamant. Sean Evans says no. There's head tennis inside the box, and eventually Manny Muscat comes away with the ball, and here's the counter on for Wellington. And they are streaming forward. Carlos Hernandez, 4 against 4 here. Can he find the right delivery? And it's miscontrolled by Kyra. What an open first half we've had here, Gary Phillips.
It's been great action. Here it is. Oh, an indication. Oh, it's a little sneaky one. Wellington might have got away with that.
I don't think that's intentional.
His limbs were in his body line, certainly weren't outstretched, looking to stop the ball. It's a normal action. We're trying to control it. Understand local fans demanding a penalty. That's not out of the ordinary by any means.
Well, there we go. What a first half we have had. 3 quality goals. 2 of them, fortunately for Clayton Zane, scored by the opposition. Craig Goodwin did manage to square the ledger after Carlos Hernandez had given Wellington the lead. And then Stain Househam's with his 9th of the season, meaning that at half-time it is Ernie Merrick's team that holds the advantage. Newcastle Jets 1, Wellington Phoenix 2. Let's go down to Tom Chadwick.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simon. As you mentioned, I'm joined by the goal-scoring Craig Goodwin. Craig, good to get back on the score sheet.
Yeah, definitely to get back on the score sheet with my first of the season, but sloppy giveaway for the second by myself. A little bit of a sloppy start from the whole team, but I think we're definitely still in it. I think we're creating the better chances, and if we can put them away, I think we'll be right.
Okay, how do you get back into the game in the second half?
Just got to work hard, stick to our structure, and then take our chances.
Craig, thank you.
Thank you.
Time for a break here from Hunter Stadium. Currently, it is the Wellington Phoenix 2-1 up over the Newcastle Jets. After the break, I'm going to be joined by Gary Phillips to wrap up the first 45.
Three, four, five. Hello, good afternoon. This will be Gary.
Playing football.
Okay, thanks.
It's discovering your passion. Or is it having fun with your mates? celebrating greatness? Representing your country? Or is it the perfect play? Find out what playing football means to you. Register to play at myfootballclub.com.au.
If at any time you should hear this sound,
If it can be, mate. Beautiful. Thanks, mate.
it means you are being asked to evacuate the stadium.
Thank you. Yeah, great. That's great. Thank you.
Stay calm and follow the directions of stadium event staff, who will be in a position to direct you to the safest exits. Please take a moment to familiarise yourself with the stadium and its exits in the event an evacuation is required. And should you have any questions, feel free to contact the nearest event staff member. We thank you for your attention and please enjoy the event.
Hunter Stadium is a responsible server of alcohol. Please assist us by being a responsible consumer. It is an offence for minors to purchase, consume or be supplied with alcohol. A penalty notice of $1,100 applies to a person supplying a minor with alcohol. Patrons are reminded that Hunter Stadium is a total smoke-free environment. Spectators must not enter or attempt to enter the field of play or playing arena.
It's a very warm summer's afternoon at Hunter Stadium, and the action on the pitch is even hotter with the Newcastle Jets going toe-to-toe with the Wellington Phoenix. Joining me to analyse the first 45, Gary Phillips. What an incredible half. The Wellington Phoenix was simply outstanding.
Well, both teams were good in patches, but Wellington were very good, particularly the likes of Carlos Hernandez and Stein Heisinghams. They were magnificent in that final third. Really productive, good combination play, which led a lot of success to Wellington Phoenix. And Newcastle, Tommy, if they don't tidy up that area, they're going to be in real sorts of problems this afternoon. OK, let's have a look at the match stats, of course, and no surprises here, Gaz. Wellington Phoenix dominating possession. I thought perhaps they would have had a little bit more than 54%, but it really does. I guess it's a fair tale of the tape, isn't it? Well, what it does do is tell you a little bit about Newcastle as well. They've set up defensively quite deep, which allows them to counter-attack and use the likes of the pace, the likes of Taggart, Houle, and also Goodwin on that far side. But here's the goal from Hernandez. You just cannot allow it. Overstep, the defenders got caught in all sorts of problems there. And Carlos Hernandez has so much ability, so much composure. Here, time again, in between the lines, sets up Heisinghams. And once again, Heisinghams just... You cannot. That man is in great form at the moment, and his finishing is real quality.
Yeah, Hernandez and Heisinghams have been really, really tough to stop all year for the Wellington Phoenix, haven't they? I mean, really, especially considering it's going to get a little bit harder later in the match, because considering it's so warm here in Newcastle, these goals early in the match are crucial, aren't they?
Yeah, fatigue will play a factor. There's no doubt about that. Statistically, the team to score first typically goes on to win this encounter, but it's an area that the Newcastle Jets will need to tidy up. They need to dominate that middle of the park. Actually identify somebody just to sit in front of that back four, because it's causing them some problems.
They've had a fairly leaky defence all year, haven't they, Newcastle?
Yeah, they have, particularly when they've only scored, 18 now from 18 games. If they don't stop conceding them, they've got to score a lot more. So something needs to improve in some area, Tommy, and they need to find that form real quick and tidy that part of the games up really quickly, particularly leading into this crucial period leading into semi-final time. Well,
it was that man, Craig Goodwin, who scored for the Newcastle Jets. It's been a long time in between drinks for Goodwin. It was a lovely lead-up play by Zenon Caravella, and Craig Goodwin with a scintillating left strike.
Yeah, it was a long throw-in, not a very convincing clearance. Caravella was alert, he stayed alive, and that's a really educated pass into the path of Craig Goodwin, and that is a super finish from a young man looking to get back to form. He's starting to find it. Recent weeks he showed signs of it, but this will give him a great amount of confidence, and that is a super finish. Glenn Moss on that occasion can do nothing about that, but Caravella has been very busy in the middle of the park, super ball, and Craig Goodwin, what a finish. There's been some great goals in this, Tommy, and that's another one.
Yeah, indeed, an absolute scorcher. They have lost Nick Ward to that medial strain. That's not good news for him, considering, I guess, he was trying to revive his A-League career. Can the Jets get back into the game?
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Nicky Ward, but I think they can as they tidy up that middle of the park. Counter-attacking wise, they look threatening on occasions. Phoenix will need to be aware that situation is key for Newcastle's success. But Newcastle Jets, if they can maintain that intensity, they can get back into this game.
Beautiful stuff. Thank you very much, Gary. Of course, as always, on a Sunday night, Sunday Shootout is headed up by Adam Peacock. Adam, it's over to you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Plenty to get through on Shootout tonight. So we'll wrap up everything that's happening in this game at Hunter Stadium and also the one in Albury between the Heart and the Perth. Here to do it with me, Bozza, Josip Skoko, and we'll be joined on the couch for a special guest appearance from Kevin Muscat, asking him about everything that's been going on at Victory over the last month, including yesterday's big win over the Mariners on the central coast of New South Wales. We'll also look back on the big match on Friday night at Wonderland, Brisbane Roar. Western Sydney Wanderers couldn't be separated. 1v2. We'll play blankety blanks to sum up that one, and also play blankety blanks about Sydney FC and Adelaide. Dramatic evening at Allianz Stadium. We'll talk about the relationship between the fans and the club, and also, of course, Adelaide's big win. Then we'll go to Darren Lewis in England to talk about the Premier League and Liverpool's amazing win. And that's the word, amazing, over Arsenal and Chelsea going back to the top. We've got B-League kickabout, plenty of other things coming your way on Shootout after this one from 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox 1.
Beautiful stuff. Thank you very much, Adam. Live from Melbourne, Sunday Shootout, as always, with Adam Peacock and Mark Bosnich. Special guest, Kevin Muscat. That's always interesting listening to what Kevin Muscat has to say, following by Santo Sam and Ed's Total Football. A few laughs on Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Special guest, Mark Bresciano. Interesting ahead of the World Cup. That'll be a very interesting interview. And, of course, the weekend of the A-League is wrapped up by the A-League Highlight Show with Simon Hill and Mark Rudin. Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Time for a break here from Hunter Stadium, but as we go, it's Play Football Week. Good to see some of the local kids enjoying the sunshine. Don't forget to register with your club at myfootballclub.com.au. Back with the second half action from Hunter Stadium in a few moments' time. It's the Wellington Phoenix and the Newcastle Jets.
The FFA is one of 17 leading sporting organisations that are proud to have come together to help tackle youth binge drinking. They're strong enough to say enough, and you can be too. Be the influence. Visit tacklebinge-drinking.gov.au. Harvey Norman is a proud supporter of the Hyundai A-League. Check out the latest LG TVs in Harvey Norman today. As a member of your Hyundai A-League club, you can save up to $1,000 off a new Hyundai. Visit hyundai.com.au for more details. Well, as they head off the field, folks, a big hand for New Lambton FC, our mini room footballers, and also a big hand as well to all of our participants in the street football community program. We are not far away from the start of this second half. A big one coming up. Currently it is the Wellington Phoenix leading the Jets 2-1. Jets fans, it's time to welcome back onto the field for the second half of the visitors, the Wellington Phoenix. It's time to get set for the
Good. Can you hear me?
Please welcome onto the field your team, the Hunter Ports Newcastle Jets.
Welcome back to a very, very warm Hunter Stadium in Newcastle. It's the Wellington Phoenix and the Newcastle Jets. Wellington Phoenix currently leading in process in a heat-affected Albury. It is the Melbourne Heart and the Perth Glory, currently locked at 0-0. Time for the second half to get underway, and it's time to go to our commentators Simon Hill and Gary Phillips.
Thanks very much indeed, Tom. No changes made by either coach at the break. But the Jets certainly looking for a change in fortunes. Halfway to what would be 7 matches without a win, just 8 points from their last 30. 3 years without a place in the finals. These are troubled times for the Newcastle Jets, having just parted with their coach, Gary van Egmond, as well. And as for Wellington, excellent first half display. As Newcastle get us back underway, they are aiming for a little bit of history here, and they've given the ball away, Newcastle, right from the kickoff, which I'm sure was not as per instructions from Clayton Zane. Wellington do win today. It'll be the 3rd straight time they've won in Newcastle. They have never beaten an A-League team away from home 3 games straight. Gary Phillips, they're good value for their lead at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly are, Simon. Newcastle continue to give the ball away like that. It's only going to make Wellington's job a lot easier.
Joey Gibbs finding Craig Goodwin, scorer of the Jets equaliser when things were looking a bit brighter for the home team. He's skipped away from Brindell-South. Oh, Craig Goodwin! Fantastic! What a super goal! He has a brace. Newcastle restore parity at 2-2. Terrific stuff from Goodwin.
And the importance of young players to develop both sides. It's a great little in and away. Strong on his left side. Really positive. Set up the defender. Just split the defenders here. Outside, inside. There he is. And just, you can see what he's going to do. That's a brilliant, composed finish. Just passes the ball into the net with his right foot. Well done, Craig Goodwin. That's 2 from 2.
One with the left, one with the right. Both brilliant. Glenn Moss did not have an earthly with that. Well, that's made the Jets feel a whole lot better about themselves. And haven't we seen some cracking goals?
It's been a crazy weekend, hasn't it? And a crazy day. Some brilliant goals, some brilliant individual moments. It's not the start that Wellington wanted. A great start for the locals. I think this game's got a lot more goals in it still.
Here is Goodwin on the ball. His first ever brace in the Hyundai A-League.
Well, the challenge is now for his hat-trick, Simon. Can he get a header? The left one with the right. A headed goal to finish the hat-trick would be brilliant.
Not sure that's really his strong suit, but anyway, we'll see.
Isn't it great to see a young player full of confidence?
Suggestion of a hand there used by Tyler Boyd, and it might break here for Housigham's. Birighitti always the favourite to get there first. Andrew Hall. Goodwin is free again on the left as Brindell-South has tucked inside. It's a real baptism of fire for the young fullback from Wellington. Hall trying to prod it back towards Goodwin, broken up by Wellington. Now Tyler Boyd. The second half starting as the first half finished. Brillante gets his head down and delivers in fields. Wasn't a great ball for Taggart, but Jets still have it. Caravella misses out Hoole to find Goodwin. Caravella. Space and time here for Brillante. Wasn't the best cross, in all honesty. Finds its way through for Goodwin. Another test for Brindell-South. It's going to be a goal kick. And Goodwin is hurt as well. Seemed to fall a little awkwardly. Not sure whether it's his head that's taken the full brunt of it.
Well, it's a good test for Brindell-South in his debut, and he's done really well. And it looks like he's got a shin or a knee to the head.
I think it might have been an arm, actually, inadvertently from Brindell-South. There was no intention, but certainly just clipped the side of the head of Craig Goodwin. Brindell-South. Youngster to take the throw-in. Grew up under the tutelage of former A-League players, Carl Dodd and Royce Brownlee. Moreton Bay United. His first taste of the A-League here today, and Craig Goodwin's given him a good examination. Tackle by Zatkovic, and Caravella brings the ball clear. This is Gibbs. Taggart desperately trying to stay onside. Gibbs checks and sprays it across field for Brillante, then tries to hit Taggart, who was onside. Now with Gibbs, Newcastle threatening again. Back it comes for Goodwin. Well, he feels as though he can score from anywhere at the moment.
Yeah, that's a tired effort on that occasion. Good signs for the home team. Joey Gibbs starting to find some joy in between the lines in that little hole. Craig Goodwin seeing a lot of the ball. I guess it's what you want, Simon, on a day. You had two efforts, rocket into the net. Just get the ball to me as often as possible. Here we go again.
Joey Gibbs has done just that. Away races Goodwin. Being joined now by Galloway on the overlap. Throw in Jets. Near side of the pitch now almost completely bathed in shadow. So I'm sure the fair-skinned Brindell-South will appreciate. Now Hoole has dug it out. Andrew Hall trying to do what Craig Goodwin did some moments ago. Not quite the same execution.
It's good harassing, it's good high pressure, good collective defending. Newcastle, on occasion, just lashing at it. Needs to remember, the bottom corner is good enough. Still get some bend on that ball, even if you keep it down. Just a little bit more composure in that finish.
Still looking for his first A-League goal, Andrew Hall.
That's what that youth will give you, Simon. Plenty of high pressing. Taggart, Hoole, Goodwin, they'll chase all day. He's going to make it difficult to play out from the back.
Put it forward by Rydenton, and Housegam's right in the challenge. Good work. Stayed Housegam's, tees it up, chance. Good save by Birighitti off Reece Kyra. Still alive for a moment. And then a solid block challenge by Brillante sorts it out for the Jets. And Wellington remain dangerous.
It was a great save, Birighitti. Housegan played a great little ball in then.
Really, you wanted Housegam's, from a Wellington point of view, to be on the end of that chance, not providing it.
Yeah, I agree. I think even the disguise then, the expectation was to play that pass. When he perhaps if he pulled the trigger, Might have just deceived the goalkeeper.
Broken up in midfield by Caravella. Taggart's a bit unfortunate there. Ball came off his heel. And there's an offside flag against Wellington.
It's better for Newcastle. Starting to get out. Here's that chance. Heisingham's a great little ball in. And Birighitti makes himself big, stays on his feet. Does brilliantly to block that opportunity.
Brindell-South sticking to his task there, denying Goodwin. Again, the game remains so open. It's a really good watch for the neutral. Not sure about the two coaches. Hernandez looking for the onrushing Musket.
I think both coaches would fancy themselves, Simon. This game starts to open up rather than being tight. The team's got pace and got some quality on the end of their final third.
Look at the room here again for Goodwin. Brindell-South continually gets dragged inside. Goodwin will now attack him, turning him one way and then the other. Caravella at the top of the box. He drives it. Just 2 goals in 140-odd games, Zenon Caravella. Goodwin looking for the overlapping fullback Galloway. He gets the corner off Tyler Boyd.
Well, it's better play from Galloway. There's been a couple of occasions where Goodwin's broken. And given the form he's in and the ability for him to go past that last line of defence, that first offender, he's not been quite sure to run past him or just to leave him 1v1. Such has been his success. On occasion providing him another option, hence the corner.
Which Andrew Hall will deliver. So headed up and away by Sigmund.
I'm not sure he knew much about that one, Simon. Perhaps the sun on that occasion just got into his eyes at the last minute, but he did just enough.
Home Fats trying to lift their team again. Looking to take the lead for the first time in the game. Hall goes deeper this time. There's nobody there for Newcastle. Zatkovic leading on to Hernandez. The counter may be on here. Oh, stumble by Caravella, and Houseghams is away. He's on his own though, Stain Houseghams. Now being joined by Kyra, tries to thread it through, it's Kyra, and Birighitti is out smartly again. Well, again, it was the combination between Houseghams and Kyra that caused the problems for Newcastle, courtesy of a stumble as well in midfield by Zenon Caravella. Now attention switches to the other end. That's a blatant trip, is it, by Leah? Referee says no. Well, that looked as clear as day for me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was intentional. It just clipped his heels from behind, but it was certainly a foul. Some action here. It's a great play by Heisingham's initially. There he is, Leah, just getting across him. Definitely a free kick. But he got away with it.
Leah was all ready to argue his case and then realised the whistle hadn't blown. Excellent advert for the Hyundai A-League this has been. 2 teams outside the 6, remember. That will be a free kick, and a few pleasantries exchanged too between Goodwin and Brindell-South.
Yeah, it's 8v9. Both teams capable of causing lots of problems for the teams above them. Both teams very much in this finals race.
Free kick jets. Hugh Yallens with a bit to say as well, which has angered Vince Leah. Tensions starting to rise at Hunter Stadium, and it's still going on. Hugh Yallens, there's a real push and shove involving Duranta. Yallens said something that really infuriated the Wellington players, Vince Leah in particular, and that carried on during and after the free kick, and Sean Evans has got a bit of sorting out to do here. Obviously, we're not party to what the Dutchman said towards, I think it was Josh Brindell-South. Muscat and Leah, in particular, were quick to defend their teammate. Carlos Hernandez not impressed either. Very interesting. He's a very experienced player, Q Yallens. Not like him to perhaps get involved in the verbals.
Well, it's experience. And upset defenders inside their own penalty area. There's only one outcome. I think Sean Evans on this occasion has dealt with it very well. Don't know whether he actually saw the incident, nor did his assistants. Therefore, the only wise thing to do was to talk to both players.
Well, was that what they were angry about initially? And there was a bit of push and shove, all handbag stuff really, but I think it was something that Yalin said that further angered the Wellington players, as well as the initial challenge. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. It's room again here for Craig Goodwin. It's been a constant theme in this second half. Brindell-South, though, in fairness to him, has retrieved the situation for Wellington. Taylor Regan bringing the ball forwards. Taggart's gone too early, he's offside.
Yeah, it was a good play by Wellington. They held their line, they held their nerve. Newcastle had runners in motion. Once they got in behind that defence, Regan was late in the pass, therefore had to hang on to it. In the end, turned it over. Good defending.
Wellington are preparing to make a double change shortly. Jeremy Brockie and Jason Hicks have taken their tracksuits off. Jeremy Brockie, a former Newcastle Jet, of course.
Well, what will be interesting whether it's Brindell-South, his first game, already getting cramps, understandably, chasing Craig Goodwin all afternoon. I'm getting cramps just watching.
A chance again for the players to hydrate, which they will welcome, I'm sure. Time for everyone to take a bit of a breather. Really cracking tempo to this game. Now Tyler Boyd just trying to bend his run. And slightly too early. The probings from Hernandez and Housigums from midfield, particularly when Housigums drops off the front line, have been terrific to watch for Wellington.
You've got to continue to ask questions of that defence. If you don't do it, it becomes easy for them. As you mentioned, that probing. Hernandez, Housigums has been very good all afternoon. They've always asked questions, dropped off, got in behind, kept them guessing. Some variation in their attack, in their options, whether it be a pass or a dribble.
Galloway, now he's lost out. Tyler Boyd on the charge. Yellens across swiftly. The good part of his game.
Well, he was lucky he won the ball.
Zadkovic trying to stay strong, but he's lost the ball. Rydenton with the switch. Hernandez, danger here for Newcastle. Hernandez, lovely ball! Oh, and Housigums is offside. Must have been tight. The combination between those two.
Well, the awareness, the vision, the ability to execute under pressure. Just such quality.
Yeah, it's gone too early. Good decision.
But he's still taken up. It's a great position off the shoulder of that last defender. Got where he can see ball and goals. It's always going to be a threat to defenders.
Brindell-South and Goodwin again going at it toe-to-toe. Brindell-South is almost literally out on his feet. Gets a helping hand from Ruben Zadkovic, which he won't welcome. And again, tension's just starting to rise a little bit. Ben Sigmund and Andy Durante not hugely impressed with the Jet skipper. Well, Hernandez can smile about it, but you can tell, Gary, there's a bit in this.
There's no question. Zadkovic eager to get on with things, understandably. But it's dangerous to play with players who, in his opinion, thought he had a cramp. Still plenty of time to go in this game. Certainly not time wasting. Boy, could have really been injured, and then he's in all sorts of trouble.
I'll tell you what, that's got to be a concern for Ernie Merrick. Is Josh Brindell-South on debut, almost out on his feet. I wonder if he's one of the ones that's going to be replaced, or whether they might just switch Manny Muscat back to a right fullback position. Muscat's going to take this free kick.
Yeah, you're right. It's a big question. Manny Muscat is a man for many occasions. If he does switch him to the right, it will certainly pose more of Craig Goodwin. But it will leave the likes of Andrew Houle, who's been very quiet today because of that man Muscat.
Fouled by Caravella on Boyd. Zadkovic refusing to retreat the 10 metres. Wellington taking their time over the double change. This is a fascinating period of the game. So finely balanced at 2-2. Hernandez with the free kick. Birighitti just for a fraction of a second there. Wonder which direction the ball was going to come into. Good release though, and Brillante looking to hit Taggart early. Held up by Kyra. Ben Sigmund is the forward roll, rather theatrically. A vain appeal of a free kick from the referee. Hall turns away from his marker. Looks to poke it through for Taggart. Durante's there for Wellington. High-octane stuff here at Hunter Stadium. And then Hernandez with the outside of the boot. Probing again for Houseghams. Here come Wellington. To wait for the cross. Or will Houseghams go on his own? That's a good tackle by Taylor Regan at the expense of a corner.
Yeah, it's a great tackle. Under enormous pressure. Oh, Houseghams running at pace. Great positive run. Did not hesitate to get at that last defender inside the area. Regan did brilliantly.
Well, Tyler Boyd is one of those to be replaced by the former Jet, Jeremy Brockie, who made 41 appearances and scored 11 goals during his stint with the Newcastle club. And Josh Brindell-South, perhaps unsurprisingly, is the other man to make way. Had a decent fist of his debut, but just literally, Gary, run out of gas.
Yeah, he did. Found Goodwin in good form. Done a decent job despite those 2 goals that Goodwin did score.
Hernandez with the corner. Up in the air by Zadkovic, and then subsequently by Taggart. Not in the right direction so far as Newcastle's concerned. And again a shank off Taggart. This time he gets it right.
Doesn't shank him at the other end, does he? Only finds a target.
Well, he's not used to being inside the box. He scores most of his goals from outside the penalty area.
Well, not at that end. That's right. I think you're right, Simon. I think Manny Muscat has shifted to that right side of defence.
Wellington have another free kick. A game that has really ebbed and flowed. Hernandez, flat delivery, too flat. Volleyed away by Zadkovic. Kyra to return it. Too high for Rydenton. Durante. It's gone behind. Goal kick. The referee's assistant copping a bit of a spray from another former Newcastle Jet.
Well, initially I thought he was going to let it run, whether he felt that a Newcastle Jets defender got a touch. And left that ball run a little bit late, waiting for a defender to dive in. Anyway, back to a goal kick and a restart.
Andy Durante, remarkably the only man on show today who played in that grand final of 2008 for Newcastle. Given away by Kyra. Zadkovic. Caravella finding a bit of room between the lines. Turning beautifully away from Rydenton. Such a good footballer when he's on his game, Zenon Caravella. Lovely balance, 2-footed footballer. Down away. It's going to be a corner if Moss doesn't prevent it, which he can't. This is Newcastle Jets' 7th corner. Wellington have had just 2. Taylor Regan taking up his station at the edge of the 6-yard box. Scored just 1 goal in his 51-game career. That was against Melbourne Heart a couple of weeks back. Ball goes towards Yallens, fisted away by Moss. Back in by Brillante. Way too high. Well, here's the question, Gary. Does either team deserve to lose this game? They've both really contributed.
Yeah, both teams have been good. They've had their moments. Some brilliant goals. Can't really put a lot of that down to bad defending. There's been some impressive strikes this afternoon. Still 20 minutes to go, though, Simon. It's anyone's game. So much at stake. Chance to start to get towards that top 6. For me, this man for Newcastle needs to get on the ball a lot more, despite that execution, that delivery. Seems like he's sitting a little bit deeper, which I think is something that Newcastle Jets lacked in the first half. Hernandez has not had as much space. What that has done is allowed Caravella, freed him up to get more time on the ball. He has got great ability to run and move defenders, create chances for the likes of Goodwin. Gibbs has been solid. Taggart, however, has not really got him behind the defence in the second half.
Bright sunlight. Difficult for the defenders that end of the ground. Glenn Moss bathed in shadow at the other portion of it. Throwing goes Jets' way. This is what we talked about at the start of the show. Sir Alex Ferguson calling this stage of the season squeaky bum time, but it's produced not only tension but great quality as well. Here's Jason Hicks trying to provide some more. Drop of the shoulder, Hicks!
Oh, brilliant.
Special again! What a goal! We have had some belters here this afternoon. That could be the best of the lot from Jason Hicks. Wellington lead for the 3rd time. His first goal in the A-League. Sorry, Gary.
I can understand the excitement, Simon. Just incredible goals this afternoon. It's a great little ball over the top. This little ball, Hernandez again at the heart of things, just rolls into the path of Hicks. He did brilliantly. Such composure for a young man. And he just bends that into the corner. Peter Giddy, no chance. What composure. That is a pass with real quality. Nothing you can do about that. And that is a well-deserved lead on the back of that effort.
Well, 5 goals of the highest quality. They've had no tap-ins here today. And Newcastle Jets, incredibly, after crawling their way back twice into this game, find themselves behind again.
Well, Ernie Merrick has been out of his seat for the last 15 minutes. He's sat back down again on the back of that goal. It's a nasty tackle, Reagan.
Did he not win the ball there, Gary?
Well, his studs are showing. Regardless, the rule book apparently you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Here's Goodwin. He's going to have to score a hat-trick if Newcastle are to get out of this, perhaps. Regan. Caravella has been close to Newcastle's best, but he spilled the ball. The impressive Hicks. And Wellington could have been away again there. Last man back for Newcastle was Galloway.
He's had some great cameos lately, hasn't he, young Hicks? But I think full credit once again to Ernie Merrick. He's made the change. You mentioned a tricky time, Simon, but it's that experience of Ernie Merrick. Made those 2 changes, knew what was required. Brocky's going to provide a threat out wide. Hicks with a composure through the middle. The combination play with Hernandez was magnificent. And that change has led to the lead. And their game has matured every minute of the season. Starting to win on the road, which is so important. Gives your team so much confidence.
Durante. It's not a bad ball, that's Housecombs. Still staying Housecombs. Oh, thought that was all set up for Hasigams to burst the back of the net. He's got a corner.
So important, Simon, in this game to have a good out. He's been magnificent this afternoon for Wellington. His form has been magnificent in recent weeks. Large reason this Wellington Phoenix is starting to find some form and be a real threat in this competition.
Hernandez with the corner. Away by Hall. Hernandez with time and room again. Drills it in with real pace, fisted away by Birighitti. Chested down by Muscat. Wellington threatening again. Sorted out briefly by Caravella. Wellington still have numbers forwards. It'll be beyond Hernandez. And Galloway shepherds it behind. Just on Wellington, Gary, as Newcastle make their second change of the game. Jacob Pepper to replace Andrew Hall. No disrespect to what Ricky Herbert did at Wellington, because he did a fine job there, getting them to the finals for 3 years in a row. But they look a completely different type of team under Ernie Merrick. Yeah, they do. They certainly look much more mature. They keep the ball better. I mentioned the form of players. I mean, any manager or coach will tell you need to get the best out of players. Regardless of your tactics, your strategy, if you've got no man management skills, you're going to struggle. Hasigams has reached levels we didn't think he was capable of. So important for this team. Hernandez is playing out of his skin. He's even lost weight to make a World Cup team. The youngsters that come in, the likes of Hicks, has done magnificent. Tyler Boyd has been outstanding all year. You look at Durante, Zigman, Muscat, the looks of them, Glenn Moss as well. Another 10, 15 years in their game. The good news for Knicks fans is the Wellington Phoenix Academy opened this last week at Scots College in the Kiwi capital. Their first graduate was Tyler Boyd, but they found a permanent home this week. So there might be a few more to come in the next few years. Good to see A-League clubs starting to move towards those full-time academies. Goodwin, wrestled to the ground by Muscat. That might be a yellow card, you know. Muscat already on a yellow. He's walking away. Trying to make himself invisible. Ruben Zatkiewicz just reminding Sean Evans of that fact that he is on a yellow. What's your take on this, Gary? Yeah, you're right. Well, it's definitely a foul. And I think in the attacking area, he's tried to deny that opportunity to get the ball into an area. The yellow card was... Well, he got away with it, let's say. Maybe a little lucky. Anyway, free kick from Goodwin. Decent shape to it. It glances off the head of Sigmund. Brillante, Pepper. He's carelessly not looked as to where Brillante was and given the ball away. And here come the Phoenix. Hernandez. Only had Jason Hicks making a runner. Making as a runner, I should say. Hicks. It's a good little footballer, Jason Hicks. He's very tidy. He's been very impressive in his performances this year. Ernie Merrick has brought a real good balance to this team. The chemistry and the synchronicity of this team has been impressive. Balance in age, footballing education, young and old. That's careless by Zatkiewicz, and Hasigams was in quickly. And the foot was up on Yalins. He's got a touch of cramp as well. Hasigams being helped out by Yalins. Good to see the Dutchman helping the Belgian. Two traditional European rivals. Yalins has more work to do on the Costa Rican Hernandez.
mentioned, Simon, I think that just that balance is much better for Wellington.
There's the race for the golden boot at the moment. Housegam's level on top with James Troisi of Melbourne Victory. Adam Taggart and Bassart Berisha, 1 goal adrift each.
Del Piero certainly not out of it. Some big names there.
Extra curl it in behind Galloway. Held it up for the moment, but Goodwin was slow to track back there. Brockie could profit. Still Jeremy Brockie. Breaks here for Housegam's. He's got 3 Newcastle players to deal with. That was at least 2 too many. Laid off by Gibbs. Caravella puts it into an area for Adam Taggart to use his pace. Gets there ahead of Muscat. Taggart to drill for goal. Comes off the head of Sigmund. Just over 10 minutes remaining. It has been a rip snorter of an A-League encounter. Wellington readying their 3rd and final change. And I won't tell you the young man's name, but you'll recognise the surname, that's for sure. Housegam's. Rydenton.
That's a really good play for the Phoenix. That's where the game has matured. So good in the tight, like Hernandez. So comfortable short all along. Kept the ball brilliantly under pressure. It's frustrating the Newcastle Jets. It's 9-10 passes together now. Good combination play.
Denton run out of it by Taylor Regan. That's beyond Gibbs. Housegam's just starting to perhaps look a little bit leggy, understandable. Run himself into the ground really this afternoon. He has been terrific. Shirts off with the Phoenix fans, as is their custom with 10 minutes to go. The travelling yellow fever on the far side. Newcastle have anything left.
Oh, you mentioned
the Wellington fans. It's rather nicer weather to be having your top off as well than the New Zealand capital.
You certainly understand it today, can't you? Other than minus 25 in Wellington.
Well, Craig Goodwin is going to be replaced by Michael Bridges. He's had a really good afternoon as well. You'll wonder how he's scored 2 excellent goals and looks as though he might end up on the losing side. Michael Bridges sent on to try and alleviate and turn around that situation.
Yeah, Joey Gibbs hasn't been quite as effective as Coach Zane would have liked. No doubt Bridges will drop into that number 10 role. Gibbs will lead the line.
Here's a chance. It falls for Adam Taggart, but Matty Muscat did enough to put him off.
Yeah, well, you talked about time and the importance of a number 9. I know your team, City, miss Sergio Aguero big time. Housegam's today has been magnificent for Wellington. Taggart has been quiet, and I think that's been the difference.
You had to spoil my day by mentioning that, didn't you? Well, there's the name that you'll recognise. Rufer, Shane Rufer. That's his son. Goes by the name of Alex, and I'm sure you'll recognise his uncle as well, Winton Rufer. Probably the best player ever to come out of New Zealand, although Ryan Nelson might have a bit to say about that. He's about to make his A-League debut. If he's as good as his relatives, then Wellington fans are in for a treat.
read an article through the week, Simon, who's talking about how excited he was to be a professional footballer. Enormous pressure coming from a family of that pedigree. A man with a lot of talent. As you mentioned earlier, that football academy, the Wellington Phoenix, will continue that production line, I'm sure. Grady Merrick overseeing that with some high-quality, well-credentialed New Zealand coaches. The Newcastle Jets also are about to appoint an academy director. Augurs well for the future of football in the A-League.
Now Caravella. Front of the Phoenix supporters. Pitch now entirely bathed in shadow in that half that Newcastle are attacking. Bridges trying to scoop it back towards Zenon Caravella. Out of play off Reece Kyra. And here's the big moment for Alex Rufer. He will replace another teenager, Matthew Rydenton. So one 17-year-old for another. Alex Rufer has been completing his exams in recent months at Palmerston North High School. And Paul Eiffel has taken this young man under his wing, but well, it's great to see another Rufer taking to the football field. And as Gary mentioned, a lot of pressure having that surname in New Zealand. Wellington certainly believe in him. They've given him a 3-year contract. We'll see how he goes. His first task is to defend a corner along with his teammates. In by Gibbs. Spooned up in the air, and Moss comes a long way, gets a fist to it. Good couple of touches from Bridges, and then Caravella. There's not too many white jerseys around him. Into the final 5 minutes. Jets still fighting, maybe a bit too hard there from Michael Bridges.
Yeah, he just got the ball caught under his feet. Always tough coming off the bench. Michael Bridges keen to have an impact here for the Jets. Desperately need some at least a point. Cannot allow Wellington to get a jump on them. It's close to the finals. So close. The win is massive, particularly for the Wellington Phoenix on the road. I think next week entertain Melbourne Heart at home. So today is a massive 3 points, knowing that that fixture is ahead of them.
Now Taggart, he's got pace, he's away from Durante, he's offside. Well, that's unfortunate for Newcastle. They've tried to release him a few times today, Adam Taggart.
Well, they're just not dominated midfield enough for me. Caravella's been very enthusiastic. Zakovic has been very quiet. Here's the line.
That's tight. That's very tight.
So much depends on the angle of that assistant. As he sees across the line where exactly he is standing. It's very difficult if you're an official to stay in line with the last defender, given their pace. Maybe got away with one there. However, Moss made the save.
Well, the good news for the Jets, if there is any, is that next week they're away to Brisbane, and that's normally the place where they win the most, strangely enough.
It's a weird league, isn't it?
Brillante still full of energy in the 87th minute.
In fairness to Brisbane, I think they got them here. Newcastle won on a wet day here. Ball got stuck in the mud from a ball played sideways. On the next occasion, there was a concert a few days earlier, which had an impact on the field, the quality.
No foul, and Housegums could be away here. Staying Housegums, he just overran it. It'll break though for Carlos Hernandez. Hernandez to shoot! Well, it's just a trademark effort from Carlos Hernandez. So little backlift, and yet he generates so much power and dip.
Yeah, Housegums once again causing all sorts of problems. Never too far away as this man, Hernandez. Just a little bit too high on that occasion. I think Wellington need one more to put this game to bed. Newcastle are still a threat.
producer has just jokingly suggested staying Housegames for the World Cup in Brazil for Belgium. I'm not sure he'll get past Lukaku and all those other players that they've got, but he's had a good game today. And he did grow up in that generation, of course. Here's Joey Gibbs.
Hazard, Fulani, I think he's got a few names ahead of him.
Tough competition. Hernandez showboating. Happy to take the throw in.
Benteke, I'm reminded.
If you don't mind, yeah. What a generation of players the Belgians have produced.
Well, I think Australia are in a similar situation. Belgium changed their whole footballing philosophy a few years ago. Introduced more sided football, a whole new national curriculum. The FFA have introduced to that. Belgium are starting to reap the rewards, and I'm sure Australia will see the same in years to come.
It's a clear foul by Bridges against Manny Muscat again. Just gave him a little nudge on the way through.
Well, as good as Housegames has been, as good as Hernandez has been, no doubt that is a foul. Bridgie did have his eye on the ball, but I'm sure he was fully aware there was a defender in his road. And Newcastle Jets starting to get desperate. I was just talking about, Simon, the quality of Hernandez and Housegames today. They've been brilliant, as has been Sleer, but that back four today for Wellington has been immense. Muscat, nothing has escaped him. Durante has led by example. Ziegman has been superb. Moss, despite conceding 2 crackers, has been very solid. Brindell-South has been pretty good in his debut.
We're about to move into injury time. That's all that's separating Newcastle from a 5th successive game at home without a win.
He's 7 on the trot without a win. More pressure on a very young coach, Clayton Zane, as they push towards these finals. Always going to be a question mark with a young coach. A lot resting on the shoulders of a young number 9 in Adam Taggart.
Here's Housegames. This could seal it. Stone Housegames on. He's miskicked the ball completely. Just caught it with his standing foot. Always embarrassing for a striker. You got a feel for Clayton Zane. Thrown it at the deep end, and the fans have stayed loyal. Crowd of over 10,000 again here today on a hot day. Their team, despite 2 special goals from Craig Goodwin, just not been able to find that extra gear. Wellington worthy winners for you, if that's the way it ends up, Gary?
Yeah, absolutely. Newcastle's just not done enough, I think. Been a bit leaky at the back. Haven't done enough going forward. Turned the ball over too many occasions. I mentioned earlier, statistically, they lead the way in a number of incomplete passes or turnovers. Nothing's happened today to change that.
Game's not quite dead yet, though. Yallen's playing as a striker. The ball cannon back off his shins, and anywhere will do for Wellington. 90 seconds to hang on. Now it's just a case of keeping the ball, or perhaps they might be more ambitious than that. Housegames. Now he's going to head for the corner. Probably a wise move. Newcastle desperate. Yallins. Back for Bridges. Launches one over the top, looking for Adam Taggart. Is there going to be late drama here? Durante clears it into the final minute of stoppage time. Brillante. Gibbs the option on the touchline. Joey Gibbs to clip it in. It's not a bad ball. It's away by Sigmund. He and Durante have been pretty good as well. And that might just be enough for Wellington. Hernandez using his body to shield it from Taylor Regan. It's good skill by Regan. And Gibbs not quick enough. Throw in Newcastle. It's surely all on this now. They've got to get it forward and quickly. There's not a lot of movement up ahead of Josh Brillante. Well, that's just wasteful. Yeah, utterly wasteful.
That just happened too many times today, too much throughout the season for Newcastle. Taking nothing away from Wellington, have been very impressive on the road. A tough place to come, a flight and a bus ride. Very good.
Very impressive indeed. It is joy for Wellington Phoenix as their remarkable renaissance under Ernie Merrick continues. Carlos Hernandez and Stein Hazegam's in particular outstanding, but there were plenty more as well. But misery for the Newcastle Jets. 5 home games without a win now. They are grounded again, and that long wait for a victory will go on another week at least. 2014 not proving to be a happy year so far for the home team is concerned, who've lost a coach and have today lost again. Full-time scoreline, Newcastle Jets 2, Wellington Phoenix 3.
Today's match is proudly brought to you by the new Kennard Time at Rutherford, now open at the corner.
Well, we had 5 goals of the highest quality. A really good advert for the Hyundai A-League. And on balance, Wellington Phoenix, worthy winners. Just their 3rd success on the road this season. One which they will enjoy, no doubt.
Stein Hazegam's saying that must be really thrilling to get 3 points away from home.
Yeah, of course, you know before the game that Newcastle was on the same points as us, and it was a really important game to come back in the top 6 of the league, so important win, yeah.
And it must feel extra special getting on the score sheet?
Yeah, of course, as a striker it's always good to score goals, and most important thing is that we're playing good football as a team, and not for 90 minutes today, but I think we show a lot of parts in the game that we can play really good football and creating a lot of chances.
And it seems to me you're not just relying on the one man, it seems the full 11.
Yeah, and also the guys that are coming on from the bench. We had a couple of young boys today playing, and I think they did really well, so the squad is really good, yeah.
And you mentioned after a fairly slow start of the season, all of a sudden into the top 6, that must be rewarding.
Yeah, that's right. First 10 games, no win, and now from the last 8 games, 6 wins, I think. So it's good. We're climbing on the table, and we have a home game against Melbourne Heart next week, so hopefully another win.
Stein, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
I'm about to be joined by Zenon Caravella. Zenon, that must be really disappointing, mate, especially being... Thanks very much, guys. I'm joined by man of the match in Stein Hazegam's. Stein, that must be really thrilling to get 3 points away from home.
Yeah, of course, you know before the game that Newcastle was on the same points as us, and it was a really important game to come back in the top 6 of the league, so important win, yeah.
And it must feel extra special getting on the score sheet?
Yeah, of course, as a striker it's always good to score goals, and most important thing is that we're playing good football as a team, and not for 90 minutes today, but I think we show a lot of parts in the game that we can play really good football and creating a lot of chances.
And it seems to me you're not just relying on the one man, it seems the full 11.
Yeah, and also the guys that are coming on from the bench. We had a couple of young boys today playing, and I think they did really well, so the squad is really good, yeah.
And you mentioned after a fairly slow start of the season, all of a sudden into the top 6, that must be rewarding.
Yeah, that's right. First 10 games, no win, and now from the last 8 games, 6 wins, I think. So it's good. We're climbing on the table, and we have a home game against Melbourne Heart next week, so hopefully another win.
Stein, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
I'm about to be joined by Zenon Caravella. Zenon, that must be really disappointing, mate, especially being in the game for so long and no result.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. You know, we didn't come out of the blocks fast enough, and we were very sluggish in the first half, and we paid and we were sluggish in the second half, and that's what happens.
And it seems as though a bit of a leaky defence, it seems to be your problem all year. Is that how you saw it?
Well, it's everyone. It's not just the defence, it's the whole team, you know. If a goal gets scored, it starts from the top, and there's 3 or 4 things that happen before a goal gets scored. But, you know, it's not good enough, and we need to do better.
And some positives, I guess. You're in the game for the full 90, I guess, and 2 goals. I guess that's some positives to take out of it.
Yeah, well, it's the only positives, really. I mean, we scored 2 goals, got ourselves back, but again, you know, we need to do better. It's not good enough.
Zenon, thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm absolutely ecstatic, boys. Just kidding. I thought it was very good. He came on at the right time. He scored a goal. He's been threatening to do that the last couple of weeks. And sitting on the bench at the beginning, I think he was pretty motivated to come on. But I thought Stein Heiskens, Carlos Hernandez were outstanding. And the youngster, the 17-year-old Redenton, did a great job, as well as Rufer. I don't think we had a bad player on the day. The positioning wasn't perfect, but we played attacking football. And to score 3 goals away from home at Newcastle, a good job, well done. No, I don't have the same mindset. I think a clean sheet would be far better, and it would be better for my heart condition. But we played Josh Brindell-South at right back. It was his first game, and I thought he did a great job against a good winger in Goodwin. And we didn't have our normal defensive midfielder, and Albert Vieira. Leo Bertos is also injured, so there was a few boys out. So being rejigged, not the best defensive setup in midfield, which exposed the back line a little bit, and especially our right back. But we were always in there looking at creating something going through Carlos, and Vince Leah sort of marshalled the troops through there. And as I say, once it got up to Carlos and Stein and Tyler, things started to happen for us. Thanks, boys. I'll give you the money afterwards.
Mate, you hearing all right? Yep. Can I take your pass off? Sorry. What's happening there? Oh.
Just flip it around the back. Do you want it off?
Sorry, mate. What are we doing, Pete?
It's a trap. There you go.
Thanks, mate. You all right? We're good to go, Dewey. We have to move that camera into the flash.
Yeah, camera 4, see if it can go in there.
Can you just push your earpiece in a little bit? Yep. Just as long as it's comfortable, mate. You all right?
Here we go.
Here we go.
I think we weren't at the races for probably the first 20 minutes. It just seemed to me like we got a little bit of stage fright almost, and you know, we never really recovered from it. At 2-2, that was probably our best moment in the match. For the 10 or 15 minute period after that, I thought we were a chance, and we started to get control of the game. And credit to Wellington, you know, they're a hard-working team, and we always had our work cut out after the start we had. But you know, we need to be better. We need to get more pressure on the ball. We need to work harder. Yeah, that's right. Obviously, you know, I heard you mention about the goals that we've conceded in the past 3 games, but one thing we needed to do urgently was to start to score goals, and that'll do the young kid you know, a world of good, getting the 2 goals today. We need more goals in the front third, but at the same time, not at the expense of conceding silly ones. So good for Craig. You know, I think all round though, if we look across the board, we can get improvement from every individual within the team. So you know, lots of work to do at training, and you know, it's still in our hands whether we make the 6 or not, but you know, we need to start games a lot better than what we did today. Yeah, I need to be careful with how I manage a situation. I thought we could have been a little bit braver on the ball today. We talked about it at the start of the game, about it being a game where it was home. We had great support in the last game against West Sydney, so it was a game that I hope we could control with the ball a little bit more than what we did. And there was just lots of little turnovers and untidy play that, you know, it can't be characteristic of this football club going forward if we're going to make the 6. Thank you.
That's not what our director said. found it, Dewey, outside your house.
To worry, you know that.
Butt plug. Yeah.
Yeah, got your drizzle.
Try to have your mess with you, Josh.
Oh.
Yeah, you call me in.
Everywhere. It's just a mess. See that?
I'm going to have a shave.
Hey?
I'm going to have a shave.
Just a few words, thanks, guys.
When City start scoring, obviously, so quick.
You guys go half a step that way.
Be brief. Is that what you're trying to say?
That way?
You want to go home?
Yep.
On my toes.
And he's on a box.
Which plug? Whose? I didn't plug it. No.
Come on, hurdler. Hurry up, Raylene.
Oh dear. What happened again?
Yeah, just put it up over the next seat.
Well, what a terrific game of football we had here at Hunter Stadium this afternoon. Won by the Wellington Phoenix by 3-2. All 5 goals, Gary Phillips, at the very highest quality.
They certainly were, Simon. It was a great afternoon's entertainment. Real magical moments for players on both teams. Heisinghams and Hernandez were brilliant for Wellington Phoenix. On this occasion, Hernandez finds enough space on the edge of the area. The Newcastle Jets drop off, and you just can't afford to do that with such quality in the likes of Hernandez. Heisinghams and Hernandez all afternoon caused problems in the final third for Newcastle Jets, and Hernandez finds the net more often than not in those situations.
Newcastle managed to find a way back into the game, though. Craig Goodwin with his first of what was to turn out to be a brace. Zenon Caravella with the excellent assist. He was probably close to Newcastle's best today.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Simon. He was busy all afternoon. On that occasion, played a really educated pass into the path of Craig Goodwin, and on this occasion just decides to lash at it. Got it sweet, and really Glenn Moss with no chance, as good as he was all afternoon. But that's a magnificent finish from Craig Goodwin.
A game that really ebbed and flowed, and Newcastle, if they thought they were back in the game, didn't last too long. Heisinghams profiting from another little punctured ball through from Carlos Hernandez. That combination really starting to pay an awful lot of dividends for Wellington.
They just couldn't cope all afternoon, could they, Newcastle Jets? Hernandez and Heisinghams. On this occasion, Heisinghams finds the back of the net. Not a great finish. Got enough on the ball to deceive Birighitti. Really had no chance, and put the Phoenix back into the lead. Craig Goodwin started to dominate, got more of the ball in the afternoon. On this finish, it was quite spectacular and so important for young players to develop both sides. He's typically a left-footed player. That occasion, just drifted inside. His ability to just set this defender up, outside, inside, got it on his right foot and just bent this ball. On this occasion, Glenn Moss with no chance, and Craig Goodwin, he was good at moments, not enough of him, but on 2 special occasions this afternoon, that brought the Jets back to life.
Yeah, and that was right at the start of the second half. And for 15 minutes, the Jets did push for a goal that would have taken them into the lead for the first time in the game. Instead, Wellington made some changes. Jason Hicks came off the bench, and that was arguably the goal of the game. What a finish.
Yeah, it was a great play by Ernie Merrick to make the changes. And Hicks on this occasion, just such composure for a young player. 2 players deceived, and just caresses that ball into the corner, Simon, and gave the Wellington Phoenix the visitors the 3 points. And it was a great performance by the visiting team today.
Now, incredibly, Gary, after going 10 games without a win at the start of the season, Wellington are into the top 6. Could they be a smoky for silverware this season?
Absolutely, Simon. There's no doubt about that. A lot of players in these teams that are at the top of the ladder have indicated that Wellington are a threat this year. They've got real quality. They've got some players that come back into their team to make them even stronger. They've got a good, experienced coach to back that up, and I think they'll be a real smoky, as you say, Simon. They're going to be some problems for teams ahead of them this year.
Talking of problems, by contrast, big ones for the Newcastle Jets. They remain in 9th place on the ladder. No win in 2014, and in total it's now 7 matches without success for Clayton Zane's team. And next up, they go to the home of the league leaders, Brisbane Roar, next weekend.
Disappointing result.
Yeah, disappointing result. We knew coming into this home match, we had such tremendous support against West Sydney last time, and you know, I said to the boys at half time, we're the ones that need to create the atmosphere. You can't turn up to the ground and expect